just want to get a few months out temperature check on the next big MCU movie, The Marvels. So this is the sequel to Captain Marvel. It is, and you explained this to us. As far as I understand it, this is also the offshoot of 2 to 4 Disney Plus MCU shows, characters that have been introduced in Streamo shows and not really been part of movies yet. So a couple of months out, this movie comes out in November. It had been pushed back from a late July release. It was going to come out a week after Barbenheimer.
Yeah, it was in the Haunted Mansion slot.
Wow, yeah. That is, I have not thought of that in a long time, but now to think of the Marvels coming out a week after Barbenheimer, I mean, talk to us about this movie, but David, what would that have done? Would that movie have just been a historic open to like $15 million collapse if it had opened a week after Barbenheimer?
No, I don't think so. I think it would have been very interesting. I would love to see the alternate timeline when that did happen, because I really don't know. I do think it would have still done very well.
That's a what if on that. I've never watched it, but that Disney Plus Marvel show, What If, there's your what if. What if Captain Marvel had opened the week after Barbenheimer?
Yeah, I would love to watch that episode. But no, Captain Marvel, or the Marvels, I should say. I actually think this movie is going to do very well opening weekend. Now, okay. I do not think it's going to hit $1 billion like the first one did, for the reasons we talked about earlier. That was a movie leading into the biggest movie of all time, essentially, or one of the biggest movies of all time. So it's not going to do that. But I do think there's a lot going for it. Now, it has a new director. Not a lot of people liked the first Captain Marvel movie, even though it made a lot of money. It's not relying so heavily on Brie Larson's Carol Danvers, which I think might be a positive for some people. It's not even branded as Captain Marvel anymore. It's the Marvels, this kind of new Trinity team, essentially, with Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani, who is Miss Marvel, a young amazing hero, in my opinion. That series on Disney Plus is one of my favorite the MCU has done up to this point. Okay. Up and coming, just young and energetic and exciting character with a great backstory. Her powers are okay, made some adjustments from the comics, but generally speaking, Iman Vellani is one of my favorite additions to Marvel in the last 10 years, I guess. Like, she's really, I think, great in the role. So I'm excited to see her. I think there will be a little bit of pullback from Captain Marvel because people will see this movie and think, I didn't love that one. Then we have Teyonah Parris, who is Photon, Monica Rambeau, another hero. She was in WandaVision. So this is in very, very much so. This is that connective tissue we were talking about. This is Marvel. This is the MCU. This is what they do, right? This is them having a kind of a mini crossover event, kind of bridging the gap between all these characters, 2 TV shows, multiple TV shows, even Secret Invasion, which was a big flop for Disney this past summer. Terrible show, absolutely atrocious, and completely slaughtered what could have been, because it's such a great comic book line. A lot of people are really big fans. It's a really cool concept, and that show stunk. But that is the connection for Samuel L. Jackson to now be in the Marvels. So there is some star power. I expect it to do well. I hope to be invited back before that one hits theaters to get some more, 100%. Some more up-to-date numbers. But I do think, sitting here today, I definitely expect it to make over 100 million opening weekend. And I think for the MCU, look, DC's brand is tarnished a lot. I'm not sure Marvel's is as much as people may think. And we'll see with the actors strike. There's still a chance they delay it because they may want to get that extra juice from their actors. And I know they filmed some stuff beforehand, but we'll see how that goes. And that'd be a real downer because they have such a charismatic cast on this one. And I do think the concept of it, for me personally, looks fascinating. It looks fun. Their powers are like intertwined with each other. So it seems like in the film, it'll begin as kind of a problem, and then their solution to it could end up leading to like some badass fight scenes where they're basically like switching spots and switching powers, and it's just some comic book shit that people get really nerded out about, like me.
I'm glad to see such positivity towards that, because that has felt like one of the most negative buzzes for a superhero movie in a long time. Obviously, a lot of it is bad faith, weird internet stuff with Brie Larson, but
right.
I do think when you mention something like Secret Invasion, the TV show, there is the issue that there's been more other than Guardians, which people do kind of silo off at this point as like not even thinking about as Marvel, even though that is the most recent Marvel movie. But Secret Invasion is going to be the project that leads into the Marvels for people. And there's that bad, mojo coming out of that. And so it's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that you are still positive on this movie. We'll definitely have you on right before it comes out or right when it comes out for sure. I think the Quantumania line is the betting line for this movie. And right now, I still feel the under on that. I feel like Marvel classic Marvel, Guardians, or if Iron Man were in a movie, or Spider-Man, the stuff that's not the Avengers era Marvel, I feel is in decline. So to me, the Marvels should open under Quantumania, but you're the expert, and if you're feeling good about it, that's got to count for something. So it's very interesting though, because that next run of Marvel movies, there's no slam doink hitting them. It's the Marvels, it's a Captain America without Captain America, and then it is we love Julie Louis-Dreyfus, but the Thunderbolts.
Well, I would say Deadpool 3 would be the one in there.
Deadpool 3, yes.
That's probably going to make that. I think could make $1 billion.
Yes, that'll be huge. Yeah.
That's and
they
need
that. They need to squeeze that in before Thunderbolts and Captain America 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is, Captain America New World Order. They are going to need that surefire hit before possibly 2 bombs come out afterwards.
Yeah, and this strike's screwing them over because they pushed Deadpool 3 way up the calendar to their marquee premiere early May slot next year, and they have not completed filming. They're on complete pause now, and Brave New World is now the name of it for the new Captain America movie, is July 26th, and it's apparently much further along in terms of its filming. Thunderbolts is not even close. I think it's way behind. So they're going to kick the can, I think, down with even more of these films, especially with Bob Iger back. And he's basically saying how we don't want to be overspending on these things. And we're still kind of seeing some of that. I don't know. We're still seeing the overspending with Disney and the MCU right now. You saw with Secret Invasion, you're spending all this money on this crappy TV series. So we'll see. But Deadpool 3, I think, is a big winner. Back on the Marvels, I think also in terms of what I'm saying is I'm being a little subjective. To me, I'm excited about it because like I said, I did really love the Miss Marvel series, and for me, that's a really that connection is a big positive for me. So I'm kind of seeing this, and just based on the trailers, and this is my own personal opinion, I am projecting this to have good word of mouth and positive reviews. Now, if that doesn't happen, obviously that changes things. Like Quantumania, for instance, like that had some hype going into it, but then it just wasn't very good. It let everyone down, and it didn't have the hype as Multiverse of Madness, which was riding the coattails of No Way Home, which was also a bit of a letdown. So the Marvels, it's going to be, and I'm excited to talk about it more in depth when it gets around, it's going to really be, as we're kind of talking about, a big test for Marvel, because what if it does bomb? I think we enter code red, alert. Mm-hmm. Let's hit the big red button, Kevin Feige. Let's go back to basics a little bit here, because they're getting wildly experimental over at Marvel and really spreading themselves thin. So I do think we are reaching, if things keep going down and bombing, both critically. I mean, if Loki sucks, which is by all means going to be one of their best shows, because the first season was a very big hit on Disney Plus. If Loki sucks, if the Marvel sucks, if this Echo series sucks, we're going to be seeing them completely, I think, change their plans, especially when you consider that Jonathan Majors is the big bad of the MCU right now. We don't know what his fate is in terms of the criminal justice system and his fate continuing with this role in the MCU.
Right, right.